Yo, what is up, people? I hope the audio is okay. I hope it's not too loud. I have not been live. Sorry, I'll close all this. I have not been live in a long time. It's long overdue. I could give you a bunch of excuses as to why I haven't been making videos, but I do not want to make those excuses for you. Today I'm going to be going over some videos from our in-house tournament. I'm going to quickly share this to my Discord server. Give me a quick second. Pop. And tournaments. And bang. Going live. Oh shit. I gotta figure out thumbnails. I don't know how to do a thumbnail before I go live. I think I can, but I haven't done it yet. I just needed to hit the live button. You know what I mean? Sometimes you like overthink stuff and you over prepare. So I didn't want to do that. Breaking down the in-house tournament. Boom. Alright, let's see if it's working. Stream offline. Okay. That's an issue. Huh. Interesting. How do I change that? It says I'm live here. Low latency. Oh, maybe it is working. I just need to refresh. It says 2 viewers waiting. Isn't there a go live button here? Done. Edit, share. Bro, I should be live. Let's back out. Create, go live. Oh, it says maybe it fixed. Oh, are we live? I think we are live. Let's refresh here. Oh, it still says offline over here. Live stream offline. One person waiting. I am sorry. I think there might be a delay. I wonder. Oh, it says it's live over there. Hey coach, you're good? Hey man, what's up Tony? I don't know, when I pull it up on my end it says I'm not live. It's kind of annoying. I'm just gonna check one more time over here. Okay. Test. I wonder. There is a slight delay. I am sorry about that. I don't know how to fix that. I'm not experienced with streaming on YouTube. Sorry if you heard that echo. Okay, so yeah, there's just a slight delay. So let's get into it. What's up, Tony? Thank you for joining me. Feel free to stick around. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer any questions. You can think of this as a Q&A session. Let's fix this. Boom, bam. That should be good. How's that? Right there. Okay. All right, let's get started. So, what's up, people? If you're just joining us, I am doing a breakdown of the in-house tournament we just had on, what was it, Friday night? It was a late tournament. We're going to be doing the Matt B's team tournament January 29th in a couple of weeks. It's a quintet format tournament. It's a blue belt tournament. Going to be having 10th Planet Murrieta and 10th Planet HQ, as well as one more team. I think it's, I know one of the competitors' name's AJ from Strength and Honor. I don't know too much about that gym, but I'm sure they're going to bring some ready competitors. And for my team, I'm sorry, I'm going to take this cough drop out of my mouth. I got sick. I don't know about sick, but, I wasn't feeling well like 2 or 3, what was it, last week? I just felt terrible. Just had like a sore throat and like really bad congestion. And I got a COVID test, but it didn't come up, so, I was negative. Anyways, I'm good now, other than just a sore throat, but yeah, no, I hope they don't like flag my video for saying the C word, but I didn't get the C, the deadly C, I didn't get it, so thankful for that. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Anyways, the tournament is going to be on the 29th, and I needed to create a 10th Planet Covina team. So I did a tryouts where I had 15 people were interested in trying out for the team. I made 3 teams, and they all competed against each other. I kind of wanted to see where they were at, in giving them an opportunity to compete on a bigger stage. And it was a lot of fun. There were some really great matches. Even before we were going to do the tryouts, sorry about my cat. My kitty cat's crying. I don't know why he's crying. I just fed him. Tigger, am I going to have to put you away? Anyways, you're talking too loud. So yeah, I already had a decent idea of who would be on the team, but I wasn't sure, and I wanted to also give some of those guys some more competition experience under this format. So it's a new format, the quintet format, super fun. It's nothing else. There's nothing else like quintet format. It's just like the most intense. It's so much fun because I'll give you a quick breakdown of the tournament format. So you got one team of 5 guys and another team of 5 guys. 800-pound weight limit. So you choose your 5, your lineup. So you have a first guy, second guy, third guy, fourth guy, fifth guy, and the 2 first guys go against each other. If one of them taps out the other guy, then the guy that won stays in, and then a new person from the other team comes in, and one person could potentially take out the entire team. Usually it doesn't happen, but it's very possible that one competitor can run through multiple opponents on the opposing team, and it creates for just a really exciting matches. So I'm gonna watch some of the videos. I probably won't watch all of them in entirety because I don't want to be here for 3 hours. I got some other stuff that I got to do. So, yeah, I'm just going to go through, I'm going to skim through some of them. Let's see here. Okay, first video is up real quick. I think someone's at the door. I'm going to be right back. That way we don't have any more interruptions, and then we'll get started. All right, BRB. Okay. I am doing a live stream. Is Mom? Did you come home? Can you take the cat? Gives me just put him in our room. Let's put him in our room or something. Okay. Good. Okay. I am back. Testy test. Alright, let's get into it. Sorry for the delays. Usually after I haven't streamed for a while, it takes me a good minute to kind of readjust. Alright, let's do it. First match. So we have Daniel Kim, I think that's his name. Asian guy with longer hair against Asian guy with shorter hair, Jason. So this guy Daniel's actually not from our gym. He's actually from another gym. I forget where he trains, but he's actually a purple belt. All the other guys are blue belts, but we needed one more person for the tournament, and he kind of fit what we needed. So yeah, this is Daniel Kim, purple belt, versus one of my top students, Jason. He's a blue belt. And let's get into it. Oh, that is too loud. I am going to turn that down. Let's see how one goes. Okay. Let me know how the audio is. Hopefully it's not too bad. All right. First we have Jason. He takes a seat, looks to pull guard, get to shin, but they are off to a fast start. Daniel goes for a rolling Kimura attempt, but Jason's he's got some good defense. He evades it. Uses a shoulder hook to try and roll his partner over and get to the back, but no success, and now we're back on the feet. Now Daniel pulls guard, wants to try his hand at his own bottom game. Jason tries to go into a body lock pass, but gets stuck in a front headlock. Passes to the opposite side of the headlock. Excellent technique here. And settles in side control, even threatening a Von Flue. Daniel doing a good job staying calm and bottom side, but his arm is a little bit exposed on the far side of the neck there. Jason brings that shin across the belly, looking to move into the mount, but Daniel catches him with the quarter shell, and he's looking to come up with his underhook. And he's kind of in this like deep half position. It looks like Jason's trying to mount, but Daniel's arm is under the leg, so it kind of makes it difficult. Jason getting pretty deep on a Darce choke here, but he just can't really get a good bite on the figure four, so he switches off to a guillotine. Daniel, deep half sweep, comes up, gets on top, and we're both standing again. Really great stuff there. Great double leg takedown off the wall, and now we're in the mount. Really excellent takedown there. Great MMA style wrestling. Excellent mount escape. Jason is really hard to hold in the mount. Gets to Ashigarami. Has the opportunity at a calf slicer. And he's got a body lock. Daniel does have a little Kimura grip attempt, but it's a little too shallow, and his leg is in danger. He is in a tough spot here. Hard to finish calf slicers on tough guys, but yeah, it's not the most high percentage against really tough competitors. Daniel manages to escape. He ends up spinning away, catches him off guard, goes to a double leg. Jason shakes it off. Goes high-low, looks for the snap down, goes back to the double leg. Jason, excellent sprawl, immediately goes to the guillotine. A little high elbow variation. He's in the mount as well, looks like. But his hands are just, the grip is just not deep enough where he barely has his wrist and hand under the neck. So Daniel's pretty safe here. It is a dangerous spot to be in, but the grip's just a little bit off. And Jason's just a little too high, gets rolled off. Jason playing guard. Daniel looks to drop in on the inside heel hook. Ends up letting it go. That was a pretty close attempt, but just didn't have the maybe the confidence to really go after it and finish it. Jason with the butterfly sweep comes up on top with the front headlock. Daniel in a quad pod looking to fight the hands. Goes for a peek out attempt. Fights the hands. Gets back to a standing position. A really great match, guys. Just super fast paced, really hard to keep up with, even for me. Hard to commentate. This is a tough one. Jason on the bottom using his Z guard, but Daniel slices through, threatens the pass, establishes side control. Really great, solid passing. It looks like Jason's getting a little tired, maybe a little fatigued, kind of getting his guard pass a little too easy there. Daniel working the north-south, looking for those Kimura grips. Brings the shin across the belly. Kind of a knee on belly, shin on belly position. Getting real heavy here. We've seen Daniel is very good with the front headlocks, but Jason does a great job of inverting and looking to get onto the legs once again. Also, once again, looking for the calf slice, trying to come up using a tight waist to start moving forward. Ends up losing the tight waist, loses the leg entanglement, but he does get top position. Daniel with a little arm drag, back to the feet, goes for the shot, double leg attempt, completes the double, and gets the guard pass. Excellent job at wrestling up. Daniel's wrestling is very good. I don't know if he has a wrestling background. I don't know his background too much. I don't really know too much about Daniel, but I do know he's got some solid MMA style wrestling. Really great submissions as well. More of a top player from what I've seen, but really just tight, tight play. Doesn't give a lot of room for error. We see Daniel here in the high mount position. He ends up stepping off, changes off to north-south. I think time is running out, so he's really hunting down for the submission. He wants to finish. Looks for the darce, but Jason sees it coming, gets his back flat. We got 30 seconds left in the match. Daniel goes back to the mount, looking for the S mount, potentially looking for an armbar transition. And Jason's just trying to hang on. He knows the time's running out. He's just trying to stay tight, doesn't want to give up a sub at this point. He is down bad. Bad spot for Jason here. Daniel potentially looking at a triangle here. Changes off to the armbar. Bicep slicer. This is real bad for Jason. But it looks like time's going to run out. It's going to go to a draw. Really great match there. I have seen the other matches. I've seen these matches before. But watching them, commentating on it, I just wanted to kind of give a new perspective for my athletes. And that might have been the most high-paced match of the day. Like, just so many positions, so many excellent transitions that were seen there. Just kind of hard to wrap your head around it. There's so many things that happened. Let's see. If I could get one takeaway, like the big thing I wanted to do this video for was the people that are competing. So before I move further into it, we have Jason. He's going to be on the team. Steve's going to be on the team. Brian's going to be on the team. And then those are those are our three. Those are locked in. However, we still need two more. And the other two are going to be Freddie Garcia, Max Castillo, or Anish Singh. So one of those two of those three will be on the team. Later tonight, we're actually going to have the qualifiers for that. They're going to do like a round robin. I don't want to get too much into it, but I want to go over their matches specifically and try and give them some insight into what I saw from this day's competition. Maybe point out some things that I think they could work on and potentially improve for the real quintet tournament in a couple of weeks. So let's kind of go back, do a quick review. So Jason starts by pulling guard here. First, even just the decision to pull guard, I don't know. I didn't get to really talk with all of them. There's 15 of them, so I didn't really get a chance to go over any strategies or anything. But I do know Jason does have good wrestling. Not great, but I would say good. And I think if you have good wrestling, you should at least try and get something started on the feet, because you don't need great wrestling. You just need good wrestling to get the party started, to potentially enter into a position that
is beneficial to you. Where if you just pull guard right away, you pull guard and now you're kind of like locked into that position. But if you start on the feet, as a jiu-jitsu person, you can open up more possibilities for yourself. Now, maybe Jason had the strategy of maybe he knew he was a really good wrestler, so he just wanted to start pulling guard immediately. So I understand that. But just as a general rule of thumb, if you have some wrestling techniques in your back pocket, start on the feet. You have some time. It's a 5-6 minute match. Spend the first 30 seconds, spend the first minute feeling out, testing out the water, see how they feel, see how they're moving. And then if you give them a couple of feint attacks, if you feel like it's you're not confident in it, then go ahead, pull guard. You can start working guard techniques from there, but at least start standing, depending on your strategy. And that way you can kind of see if there's going to be any openings. So maybe you'll see this guy puts his head too low. You'll be able to snatch up an easy guillotine. Or maybe he's standing too high and then you can do an easy snatch single. Easy stuff like that. Just kind of see how they're moving. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go over the close submissions, because there's so much to go over. It's hard to cover everything. I don't want to cover every transition here. So much happened. I could spend an hour or two just going over all the little things that happened in this match. It would be a little bit too much. I'm sure that we'd find some benefit, but I want to watch more than a couple matches here. So he gets the side control position off this guillotine attempt. This was really great here. Just textbook. Traps him up. He's got that arm trapped. He's looking for the Von Flu. Daniel ends up getting the hand out. He even has the underhook still. And what happens? What happens here? He moves into the shin on belly. But you know what? He gave up the underhook. He lost the underhook here. Let's watch this real quick. Daniel gets his frame in and then just punches that underhook tight, and he's got the quarter shell. You see, he got the legs here. He got this, and he got the underhook. All right, both of those, that's solid, right? You're getting out if you got both of those, most likely. So I'd say if you don't have that underhook, because Daniel got this frame in, so that means Jason's underhook is going to be less dominant. You got to make sure that you keep that foot clear. You see, Daniel I'd rather highlight what Daniel did right here, because that really highlights, that can give tips to the top player as well. So Daniel got his neck frame in here, his right arm underneath Jason's neck, and even before he punches the underhook deep, I guess it's kind of at the same time, he pushes the ankle in with his other hand. So one hand is framing the neck, the other hand is punching the ankle towards the inside so he can capture it with his leg. And he's then able to start coming up into the dogfight position. We don't end up actually getting to dogfight because Jason, as Daniel's coming up into dogfight, Jason does a really great job of shooting that overhook deep and threatening the darce. So he threatens the darce here. You don't really get to see the grip too much, but he's got that figure four coming in. Really great response from Jason. And in response to the darce, Daniel respects it and gets back flat. So that was a really great move by Daniel. And then he even sees this triangle opportunity. There's a little triangle opportunity if Jason can get his foot clear. If Jason can free his leg and shoot it up top under the shoulder, Jason has a good triangle opportunity there. But Daniel sniffs it out, shoots his arm back under. And then once again, we're still in another darce like a darce option here. And he's just not able to get his grip deep enough. And I think what could have really helped finish this darce here, because it was close. It was pretty close. Jason should have shot his shoulders. I think he could have shot his shoulders. So when you're trying to shoot this darce here, this shoulder, you see how high Jason's shoulder is? It's too elevated up in this direction. It's hard to see with that color. Jason's shoulder is too high moving up this way, right? So the lower that you can drop your shoulder, what's a clear button? Shift C. The lower that this shoulder can go in this direction, the easier that this hand can go in this direction, or up higher in this direction. And you need that hand, this hand here, to move out, because then you'll be able to lock your bicep. Okay, see how weak this grip is here? It's hardly even a grip. So if Jason was able to shift his shoulder, this one, downwards, I think he would have had a much closer attempt at this darce. Then he could bring this hand up, just really lock it in tight. So let's watch it again. He gets close here. But yeah, he ends up letting go. I couldn't tell exactly why he let go. Maybe just wanted to switch off early to catch him off guard. But he had a good look at the darce there. And I think if he would have committed to the shoulder twist, dropping that shoulder in, twisting the body, twisting the hips, I think he could have closed the show right there. Let's move on. Daniel kind of bridges him over, ends up wrestling him. Let's watch this double. Really great double leg against the wall. Being able to take someone down is you can take someone down so much easier when you have a wall behind them, because they can't sprawl. Jason can only sprawl his legs back so far until he hits that wall, and then you gotta fight the grips off. So just textbook MMA takedown. Fantastic stuff right into the mount. But you know what? Jason has excellent defense. I always tell the people this about Jason, but his defense is impeccable, especially his mount escapes. It's super hard to hold Jason down. He does a great job at creating movement and creating space here on the inside for his knee to get through. And then bam, he's got a ashigarami attempt. Gets the heel hook, spins with it, but it's just coming loose. And that happens. You know, it's going to happen. Here's my recommendation on this particular transition. He goes for the heel hook, and I'm guilty of this all the time, which you don't want to heel hook a standing opponent. You see, Jason does have the ashi, but as soon as he gets the ashi, Daniel does a great job of standing up onto his other leg. And now that Daniel's up on two legs, you're not going to be able to generate force into somebody's knee and leg and foot if they're standing. You can, but it's just minimal. You're not going to break somebody's leg, especially when they're just a great athlete. They're going to spin, and as they spin, it's going to come loose. And that's what happens here. Jason ended up losing the knee line and ended up being forced to go to the calf slicer. Sorry, I'm congested. So, what's the lesson here? We need to take our partner down to the hips first. So instead of going immediately to the heel hook, even though the heel is exposed, in hindsight, it would have been better for Jason to use some type of X-guard sweep or reverse X entrance into the honey hole to pin his partner's butt to the floor. When your partner's butt is on the floor, now they don't have the ability to stand, and their ability to twist and spin rapidly is much reduced because you can get deeper into stronger leg entanglements. The basic ashi is just an entrance. The basic ashi is just an initial way to lock onto your opponent's leg, but it's not a great finishing mechanism. It's not a great tool to finish the heel hook. So, that's just kind of one thing I would have liked to see, is not rushing to the heel hook. He goes to the heel hook, and you know what? Sometimes it'll work. Sometimes it will, but you got to kind of sense when it's coming loose, and he did. He followed up with the calf slice, so that was good. Even rolled backwards, excellent little Oliveira style. Let's see. Let's move on. I'm taking too long on this one. I gotta move on. Really close guillotine, man. Super close. Just Daniel's a savage. I think most guys
Nice big toe right there. Most guys at blue belt are gonna tap to this, to be honest. But just shooting the elbow deeper, right? You see the grip here. This arm, this Jason's elbow needs to be deeper, closer under the neck, right? His elbow's way off to the side, here. You gotta push that head down with your lat and your shoulder, and then just turn. It's similar to what I was saying about the darce. You gotta shift those shoulders. It's like kind of like throwing an uppercut. You gotta like rotate your shoulders. By rotating your shoulders, you can drop your elbow in deeper, and you'll be able to lock in chokes. So just like more shoulder rotation, locking in those chokes. Shift C. All right. Moving on. He had a lot of those. Daniel had a good look at the heel hook here. He even had exposure. He clamps onto the foot and just doesn't finish it. I don't know. I don't really know why, but he had an opportunity. If he brought that leg on the inside, this outside leg, Daniel could have. He tried. Another variation of the inside heel hook finish is like locking around both legs. Like, he could have brought both of his legs over top of the hip and finished. Didn't happen. Ended up scrambling. A lot of great scrambles. I think both of them did a great job at scrambling. And then Daniel scrambles on top, hunting him down with these, kind of just baiting him. I've noticed that's what Daniel does a lot. He'll get on top of you with the shin on belly stuff, north south, side control, and he's kind of waiting for you to make a mistake. He's waiting for you to overextend your arms for a darce or for an armbar. If I can give advice to Daniel, it would be like, take that underjack, that underhook, just like be a menace with the underhook, and then things will open up for you. Arm triangles will start opening up, gift wraps will open up. Because against really good guys, they're not going to make those basic mistakes. They're going to stay tight. And that's what we saw here. I think if Daniel had a little bit more pressure in regards to like capturing underhook, he might have been able to threaten a little bit more often. But he was just kind of settling on top, and then he was waiting for the opportunity to get the submission, as opposed to creating the opportunity to get the submission. Both are good tactics, but Jason is just smart. He's not a he's no white belt. He's a blue belt, and he's a good blue belt. So he's not going to make those basic mistakes. A lot of great scrambles, and then Daniel does a great job of going to high mount. I don't know what the strategy was for Jason. I honestly just think he was really tired. I think that's why he just like didn't put in enough effort here to escape. And he just didn't want to get tapped. Like, he knew Daniel was a really strong teammate for the opposing team. So he was just doing everything he could to just stall out and get to the end of the round here, which perfectly reasonable. But you got to make sure you are proactively escaping, because against good opponents, if you are not proactively escaping, they are proactively attacking you, and they will get deeper and deeper on their attacks. Look at that. Like, he was just in a basic guess mount a few moments ago, and then Jason just wasn't proactive enough at his escapes. And look what happened. In a deep armbar situation, deep slicer, back to armbar. So you got to be proactive. So big lessons here. I think overall, I want to see more those good front headlock attacks. Shift those shoulders to get those grips deeper. And then for this particular match, just be a little bit more proactive on the defense, even when you're tired. Okay, it's way easier said than done. I'm guilty of just getting tired and then just like riding out the round, just like, oh, I just don't want to get tapped. But especially in these formats, you need to go for the tap. It's not good enough. You can't just, you don't want to just ride out the round and stall a guy out. Unless there's a huge skill discrepancy or weight discrepancy, you want to go for the sub. And the only way you're going to get the sub is proactive defense to get yourself back into offense. All right, that was enough. Spent way too much time on one video. That tends to happen every time I do a breakdown. Oh, shit, I closed it. Oh, every time I do a breakdown, I take way too long on each one.
If I take that long on every single one of these, we'll be here all day. All right, here we have Peter Parker, wearing the Spider-Man kit against Brandon. I don't know what Brandon's last name is, but he's wearing that Matt Beast rash guard. Shout out to Matt Beast. If you like Brandon's rash guard here, you could buy it on mattbeast.shop, my personal brand of no-gi gear. All kinds of cool animal designs you can take a look at. Anyways, enough plugging. We see here some great half guard action. I'm going to skim through. Brandon getting stuck in the lockdown. Let's see, how does he get the sweep? He comes up in a dogfight. Look at that. Powerful dogfight entrance. See it again. Pop! Comes up onto the knees, just overpowers him. Peter is an athlete. That's you know, some guys just come into jiu-jitsu and, you know, they don't have all the techniques yet because they're just getting started, but they have an athletic background. Just gives them so much of an advantage, you know. Just able to power through stuff. He's a huge athlete, very explosive, athletic, great balance. All right, Brandon puts the body triangle on from the bottom. Kind of a lot of this during most of the match. Kind of just Brandon just kind of like defending himself from the bottom. Little rubber guard attempt here, but notice his grip's a little off. You know, he's using this over grip. He's got to switch that eventually. He's got to change off to the underhand grip. But man, once Brandon gets more reps on his rubber guard, he's going to be dangerous, man. Real dangerous. Oh, there it is. There it is. Spoke too soon. I forgot how some of these matches went. Had him deep. Okay, here's something I can take note of. He clears the head. You can't see it too well from this angle, but he clears the head. He brings his foot over Peter's head here. Problem is he has this like deep overhook, and when you're playing rubber guard and you already have the hand on the mat, you know, you see he goes into his rubber guard. All right. Oh, Peter gives up the overhook too. So Peter, if you're watching, don't give up this overhook. You gave him the overhook somehow. You got to fight for inside position. Never let your hands go to the mat. You got to get that hand back in. But Brandon does a great job taking advantage of it. But if you go mission control, you don't want to keep the overhook. Why? Because there's nothing stopping your opponent from stepping over you. You can't frame out with your overhook arm. You have them in the mission control. You should be on that knee hug. Okay, slip that overhook out. You don't need it anymore. Their hand's stuck. You go to the knee hug, their hand is still stuck on the mat. And then if they try and step over you, you can then use that arm to block the hip so they don't step over your body. Okay, but look what happens is Brandon's arm is still in the overhook. It's kind of even on his face. It's out of position. And because his arm is out of position, he can't stop Peter's rotation. And Peter's just easily able to step over the body. But you know what? I think it was a mistake here for Peter to go for this head pinch thing. I don't know, maybe he was selling out for it. It's fine. But he's still in the omoplata. I would have much rather see Peter take the smarter approach of just getting his arm clear first and then going to the head with the legs after. Because you see now Peter's back in the omoplata. He's back in it. And now you see the arm came into play. Now Brandon can stop Peter's rotation. Quick explanation if you don't exactly know what I'm talking about. How do I pull up my pen? Oh, I have to keep this minimized, that's why. Quick explanation. So when you're doing the omoplata, this arm right there, that needs to be available to block this hip, okay? If this arm is blocking the hip, or if it's not blocking the hip, if this arm is not blocking the hip, Peter can just step over the body, and then Peter will be in side control over here. He just rotates in this direction or over top of the bottom player, and then you're in side control, and it's really hard to do anything after somebody steps over your body. But you know, you ended up losing that omoplata anyways. He didn't control the shoulder enough or the elbow, and Peter was just able to limp arm and kind kind of gets to the side anyways. Overall, good stuff. Great techniques from both competitors. Let's move on. Number 3. Let me take a look at chat real quick. If anyone's watching me, probably not. Let's see. Pull it up. Nope. Do they all have to be blue belts? Do they have to be blue belts? Well, as long as they're not over blue belts. So they can be white belts or blue belts, but they can't be purple belts. But at the same time, you see people sandbagging all over the place. Even me personally, I don't. Sorry, I'll close this. I don't promote my students easily, so my blue belts are solid blue belts. They're no online university blue belts. They're tried and true. They're battle tested. So some schools promote their blue belts after 6 months of training once a week. Are they blue belts compared to my blue belts? You know what I mean? Is Khabib's a blue belt? I think. Is he a blue belt? I don't know. What I'm trying to say is belts don't matter too much. But for this particular tournament, technically, yes, you need to not be over blue belt. And secondly, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask, I'm here doing Q&A while I'm doing this. So feel free to ask any technical questions or anything regarding jiu-jitsu or anything at all. I'm just chatting up. Probably do this for another hour or so. Let me see here. I'm going to pull up chat on my phone. That way, I don't have to minimize out of my screen. Totally forgot. Okay. Moving on. We saw this one next. Let's just get him getting his hand raised. Alright, we have Hector wearing the Matt Beast Killer Cat rash guard, looking clean against Freddy Garcia, rocking the 10P Covina Edo Cloud set. Let's see, 4 minutes. We'll just watch this one through. Oh wait, let me go back. I start my commentary. All right, Freddy using an outside grip on the collar tie, pump fakes, shoots in, snatch single, drops him down, passes the guard right into his favorite position, side control, even traps that hand up in a Von Flue situation. This is Freddy's signature move right here. He's a menace with that Von Flue and arm triangle. He loves it when people grab his head. Great pressure on the hips, good head position, not letting Hector get the inside space with his knees. He's looking for north-south here. Doing a good job of getting that headlock tight. He's pressuring in with his hips into the head well. Moving his lat, pressuring the head and the neck with the lat, as well as the arm and shoulder. Just a brutal position to be in, man. I hate the north-south. It's just brutal to be down there. Hector doing a good job of getting one arm on the inside. I think he'd be a little bit more effective getting both arms in. There he goes. Both arms come in. He's able to then push off of Freddy's body, loosening the choke, and does a great job of escaping. Excellent escape from Hector. Gets both of his arms inside the neck. Gets his guard back for a moment, but Freddy doing a good job of keeping that tight wrestler-type pressure. Passes the guard once again. Hector doing a really great job framing against the outside of the tricep. Ends up on top. Really fantastic defense there. And now the tables have turned. Now Hector's on top. Looking for the darce, it looks like. But Freddy's doing a good job keeping his back flat so he doesn't get darced. But he's still in danger. Hector moves off into the shin on belly, but that kind of gives an opportunity for Freddy to get his lockdown, his half guard going. And Freddy is known to have a good lockdown game from the bottom. He even has the underhook, uses that lockdown to come up on top, and now he's getting all the way up. And he is passing. Solid pass, solid sweep. And we see Hector here on the bottom. No frames in yet. Coach is guiding him to get those frames, and now he's got some arm frames in. Got to work on getting those legs involved. Great bridge. Gets that knee in for a moment. But Freddie does a great job of pushing that knee back away, back into side control with the crossface. Signature Freddie. Hector does a strong bridge attempt, but with no luck. Freddie with the shin on belly, kind of just riding him out, taking his time. Working the underjack. He's trying to get that underhook on the far side. He's got a crossface. He's got his hand on the tricep, but it's not a full underhook. Now he's moving into the mount. It's getting deeper. It's getting tighter. And he's working that arm up high. Ooh, it's getting bad for Hector. Hector momentarily gets his elbow down, but it is getting more and more secure. Freddie looks to cheat and get his head underneath that elbow, looking for the arm triangle here. Really great control from Freddie, not letting this bridge get the best of him. Freddie just super stubborn with this arm triangle, doesn't want to budge. Just super, just real stubborn. Not giving Hector any space to get that arm back. And it's not in yet. It's still kind of like this 50-50 scenario where Hector can still get his arm back if he's slick with it. But Freddie is just super committed. Gotta stop saying super so much. It's super annoying, right? Alright, looks like Freddie has moved. Oh man, that was it. I didn't think it would end that fast, but got the arm triangle finish. Freddie was hunting that one down for a good 2 minutes. Seemed like 2 minutes. What's up, Q-Noob? Yes, I do think Khabib is a blue belt in BJJ. Could have 2 monitors if you wanted. I don't want to set that up. I'm fine with just using my phone. I can use the iPad too, maybe next time. Yeah, I don't have enough desk space for 2 monitors. Maybe I do, but I got all this other stuff. Got my pop collectibles on here. I'm good. Good with my phone. Alright, and as promised, Freddie got the submission, so he is still in. Going against Josh. Big Josh. 230-pound Josh. This one is... this is a tough one, man. Is it sometimes good to be stubborn? Absolutely. Yeah. I'll pause it real quick. Good question. Combats. Is it good to be stubborn? That's a tough one because sometimes it is important to be stubborn. Sometimes it's important to be stubborn when you know you got something, or when you know that you can finish. Okay? If you know you can finish, then just stay on it. Don't give up, because if you have something you like in that case, Freddie had that arm triangle position. That's Freddie's favorite move. So yeah, sometimes it's important to be stubborn and not give up any space, but other times it's important to allow for movement. I think if you look at Daniel's match, and the last one we saw, not the last one, but the first one we saw, Daniel, I think, was the opposite of Freddie, where Daniel was giving up too much movement. He would get on top of someone, and he would allow too much space, and he wouldn't commit to an attack, and the bottom player was able to move and get their defenses back together. So I think it's an important balance that you need. Sometimes it's going to be important to be stubborn, and when you find something you like, you stick on it and you don't give it up, and you just keep taking inch by inch until you've submitted your opponent. And other times it's important to let them go and move on to the next one. Make them make the mistake, or change off into a new submission or a new attack. So, good question. It just depends. It's a case by case situation. Alright, this is a 4-minute match. I'm gonna skip through. Oh, you know what? No, I gotta watch this part. Alright, so Freddie is tired, and he's got a 230-pound man smashing his face in half guard. Does a good job of bridging through, but he is stuck in a bulldog choke. Look at that. Oh, that's deep, man. You know, it's not under the chin though. That's the thing, is Josh is just on the head, but it is tight around the head, and Josh has a death grip right here, and Josh is 230 pounds, and it slips. Freddie slips his head out. I think the sweat from the previous match helped him get out of that move, because that was a deep one. I mean, it wasn't deep as far as the choke, but it was painful. You know what I mean? It was tight for a quick minute. Look at that. Freddie does a good job of like bridging him over here. See it. Bridges him. But I think Josh does like the wrong thing. But you know when someone does the wrong thing where it's so wrong it becomes the right thing? I think that's kind of what happened here. Like, you're not supposed to just hang on to someone's head. That's what he was doing from the very beginning, like start of the match. I think that's a really common beginner mistake, is like guys just get obsessed with just like squeezing on people's head, that you never give up the head, and you just like want to squeeze someone's head because it feels like it's the right thing to do, keep them uncomfortable. But you gotta worry about the rest of the body. So my advice to Josh is like, don't be so concerned with grabbing the guy's head. You gotta get inside position. Right? Inside position is going to be more important generally than squeezing somebody's head. You got to worry about the rest of the body. You can't just squeeze someone's head and win like that. Not against good opponents. So Freddie's able to bridge, which is a good move, textbook move, but because Josh is so strong and big, and look at that, he just got a death squeeze on Freddie's skull here. This could have been a wrap, in another world. But, Freddie's just too experienced with this. And, Freddie's too stubborn here as well. Freddie wasn't giving up this position here. And what made this work for Freddie, the reason Freddie was able to get out of this bulldog choke attempt, was he stayed on his knees. He was able to get his hips back. You see that? It's hard to see with this camera angle, but Freddie's able to shift those hips back, and he's able to stay on his knees. What tends to happen in these positions, bulldog choke's a good move, but what happens is people end up falling to their back, like in a side control scarf hold position, and that's a good spot. But because Freddie's on his knees here, he can kind of take his time. As long as his neck's not going to break or he's not going to get choked, Freddie can take his time wiggling his head through, using that sweat, slipping out the back, and now Freddie's on top in a dominant position. All right, let's move on. But what happens here, I think Freddie's a little riding too high, overzealous. What happened? Why did he fall? He's just seatbelting. I always tell my guys, no seatbelt. No seatbelt unless there's a time constraint. Because look, even this mild tripod attempt, Freddie ended up slipping off the top, and now he's back on the bottom. Oh no. Spent all that work getting out, and now you're just stuck again. Freddie on the bottom. Butterflies, uses the lockdown. Has the electric underhooks, but man, I'll tell you this. When you go against big guys, you don't want to stay on the bottom for a long time. Doesn't matter what position you're in. Doesn't matter what. You don't want to stay on the bottom against somebody that has 100 pounds on you. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. Any guard position is not good, especially when somebody has 100 pounds on you. You need to get on top. And when you get on top, don't worry about submitting your opponent right away. You need to be concerned about maintaining position. So let's backtrack real quick. Important lesson here. You're going against some big dude. You get on top of him. Don't be so concerned with choking him out right here. Trying to get at your seatbelt, your leg hooks. Nah. You need to stay on top because it's very easy to fall off, especially on big guys. They're bigger, stronger, maybe more explosive than you. Look at this. He just slipped off the top, and then big mistake. Now he's back on the bottom. Where Freddie could have rode lower. Freddie could have dropped his chest lower on the hips. Freddie could have slid that chest down onto the hip line, and he wouldn't have fell off the top. When your chest rides high, you fall off the top. And I know Freddie knows this. He's a high school wrestling coach. He knows this very well. But when you do jiu-jitsu, sometimes you forget. Sometimes you don't think as tactically as you should. And I think he should have been a little bit more tactical here and kept his chest lower. But, you know, heat of the moment, mistakes happen. I understand. Let's move through. Same deal. Again, you don't want to stay in the lockdown either. If you're okay, he has the underhook, textbook, great, but he's not able to get on his side. All right, that's another one. When you're playing lockdown, you got to get on your side. Because look, you can see Freddy's shoulder here. Boom. You got to sink that shoulder under so you can shoot that underhook deep. And when you shoot the underhook deep, you can get on your side. And if you can get on your side, you can get up. You can start going into dogfight. You can even threaten electric chair, but you can't do anything. Even with the underhook, you can't do anything in half guard when you're flat on your back other than move into butterfly. And that's what he should have done. If you notice that you can't get on your side to generate offensive techniques from your half guard, you need to take this leg here, this outside leg, and move it into a butterfly hook. In 10th Planet, we call it the super stomp. Super stomp, battle of the knee. You know, get into cocoon position, like an over-under position. Use your butterfly hooks to off balance. You know, against big guys, I would prefer that you use a butterfly guard or some type of like open guard to off balance your opponent, rather than some type of clinch guard like half guard or even full guard. Against big guys, you don't want to have a clinch strategy as much as a mobility based strategy. You want to stay mobile. You don't want to get into a war of clinches with somebody who's got 100 pounds on you. You got to off balance them, and you're going to do that with your open guards, like your butterfly guard, your X guard, your elevations. Your open guards where you can set up arm drags, come up and wrestle with front headlocks. That kind of stuff is a little bit more favorable when you have someone who has a big weight advantage. Getting stuck in the half guard, lockdown, same deal. Just finishes out in the half guard position. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break, use the restroom, and then what's it called? I'm going to take a decongestant. I can barely breathe through my nose. You know what I'm going to do while I do this? I am going to make a BRB screen. Because I don't have one set up, I will make one. It'll be super ghetto, but I'd rather have something ghetto than nothing at all. So, be right back. Avelia is probably upset because she's like a professional streamer and I'm like trashing my stream with this terrible overlay. Boom, that's my overlay. I hope you enjoy it. High quality streamer right there. Alright, BRB.
Oh no. My stream. Is it good? Yeah, we're good. Streamlabs, that's what I need. Okay, I'm gonna tilt this camera down. Yo, I am back. Sorry for the delay. Let's get back into it. I need to go faster. Again, I will be here all day. There's like 30 matches I gotta cover. I'm gonna try to cover as many as I can. This might have to be a two-parter. Let's see here. Alright, let's see. Next. Gets the hand raised. Alright, we have Papi Jitsu, Max Castillo versus Dustin. I'm going to skim through as much as I can and just go to the highlights. I'm going to try not to do the commentary as much. I was doing more commentary before. I'm going to just kind of go over these highlights here. Sick duck under here. Bam. Gets near the back. Almost completes it, but just kind of gets rolled through. What a scramble. Dustin extremely strong and explosive. Dustin has only been training for a few months, and he held his own here against Max. He just kind of relied on the basics that he knows, and his athletic ability kind of took him a long way. Max moves into Ashigarami, fails. I think it's going to be easier to watch like this. Let's skip through. What can we look at? Okay, these triangles. I think watching the ending here. So he's got this triangle opportunity. Starts locking it in. But Dustin's shoulders are just so big. Ends up rolling on top with it. Armbar attempt, but no posture control. Ends up getting rolled off. That's the first one that failed. Again, couldn't lock the triangle all the way because he was too big and he just didn't have the angle. Getting smashed right here. And then look at this. Here's an issue with the arm bars. Both of the arm bars. He wasn't able to clamp down on the head. He was getting smashed, and then he lost control of the head here. And because he lost control of the head, he wasn't able to finish the arm bars immediately. Dustin just savage. Just explodes out. Retracts his arm well. And then the third attempt here. Tries to lock it. Couldn't lock it. Weight too high. Couldn't complete. Lost the head once again. And then now fourth attempt. Triangle attempt. This one's a little tighter, but his legs aren't locked very well. There it is. That's pretty tight. There it is. That's tight. And that's what you need. You got to get that ankle behind the knee. You finally got it. So my tip for this match, there was 4 armbar attempts that were pretty close. 4 triangle / armbar attempts. The first 3, I think he took too long on moving to the armbar. I think if you can't lock the triangle immediately, if you're unable to get the right angle that you need, you should go into the armbar like immediately. Let's look at the first one. The first one was like the most apparent. So he spent a long time trying to lock this up, and there's so much scrambling where I think he would have been better off going to the armbar faster. And specifically this one, he didn't have a good clamp on the head, and Dustin kind of just shook him off. So just trying to clamp that head down a little bit stronger with the legs is going to be really vital for finishing your arm bars. And when you're focusing on the armbar, go to the spider web. You don't have to finish the armbar right away. You just deep hook, get your spider hook, make sure they're on their back, and then you could take your time. That's the way to beat big guys too, because
You keep them down in spider web instead of finishing right away. You have leg control. They're not going to be able to stack you. Eventually gets the tap. Let's move on. All right, this was a quick one. Go watch this one all the way through. Ricky's super strong. He's got like freakish strength. He doesn't exactly look freakishly strong, but I have heard from many of our students that he is insanely strong. I don't think I've rolled with him yet. I don't remember, but yeah, he's really strong. And Max is kind of tired here because that was a hard match he had with Dustin. So right away, Ricky gets the front headlock, snaps him down with it, stays on top, finds the front headlock again, looks for the back. Max, great job inverting, getting his guard back, but just gets stuck in the inversion. That's a common theme I see with Max, is he'll invert really well, but he doesn't get his legs back in a position. Let's watch that again. So, Max is in a turtle here. Great job at grabbing, but he gets his legs pinned down. This happens too much. This happens too much with Poppy. He'll get his guard back, but look, he opens his legs to re-guard, but you gotta move off to something. You can't just like keep your legs spread eagle right there. You're just asking to get pinned down. And if you're the top player, like Ricky was here, he did a great job at just pinning these legs down. And that's how you're going to beat these lanky, flexible, mobile opponents. You got to pin those legs down, pin the hips down. That's what he does. And he's able to pass. Let's see, once again, great inversion. But he gets the half guard. Nice. Finds the underhook, comes up with it. Okay. This is a good move right here. Let's see what goes wrong. Uses the underhook to come up, but he doesn't get off to the side. Ricky's got a strong guillotine here. And it's just so tight. It's just deep. You're just not getting out of that one against someone with the strength advantage there. So let's see here. He's got the leg too. He's got the lockdown. Right here he comes up, but he loses the leg. Look at this. That was the demise. That was the reason he lost. Right here. Okay, so it's looking great. It's looking great for Max on the bottom here. But as Max initiates the dogfight, as Max comes up, he loses the left leg and he relies simply on coming up. And as he's coming up, instead of going to the single, which he should be going for the single here and creating rotation, he ends up moving directly into his partner. And now, because he's moving straight forward, their spines are parallel, and that's very easy to get stuck in front headlock scenarios. So in this case, when you're coming up in dogfight right here, it's very important as the bottom player, you're rotating in a circle to come up. That way you'll end up in a dogfight situation and you won't end up in a guillotine situation. And that was it. Watch it one more time. Comes up. Ricky sees the opportunity. Deep grip on the head. And just squeezes him out. Oof. I hate those, man. I always tap quick on those ones. The full guard guillotine. The no arm in. It's just so strong. Guys just can generate so much leverage from those spots. You don't want to be there. All right. Is this in order? Oh, okay. So this is the next match. So Max's team lost there. But this is the next match. So I think, I forgot what the team numbers were, but this is a new match. So they had a little break in action, and they are back into it. Max is up first. He was last before, and now they switched the order. So now Max, let's watch it again. Let's see. This is another quick one, so we'll go through this. Man, it's so fast. Okay, Brian pulls guard, doesn't feel like wrestling a larger opponent. Shoots into a Jackie Chan honey hole, threatens this honey hole position. Max does a good job of kicking away. Max looks for his own ankle lock. But you know what? Oh, that was an Aoki. That was an Aoki lock on the defense. Wow. That's a rare one. Sick move by Brian. Sick move. Man, you don't want to be playing footsies with Brian, right? He's small, but if any of you have rolled with Brian, you know how strong he is, especially in the first few minutes. Brian is as strong as Bob Sapp. He has some incredible strength. I love the aggression by Brian. One thing I would mention is he's just a little over aggressive with his entrance here. He's just like, I don't know, he goes for like this jumping leg entrance. He doesn't like, it's just a little reckless. I'm not exactly sure what he's going for. I think he just wants to initiate the leg exchanges, but he's out of position, and really Max has the advantage here. He throws his legs at Max. He's trying to move into an entanglement, but in doing so, he gives Max the advantage, and Max is able to collect a basic ashi. But Max just wasn't looking at his own foot. He was hunting Brian's leg down. He might even have a heel hook attempt on Brian, but Brian's got this Aoki lock. Let's see if we can just pause it. You see this? It's hard to see when it's locked, but Brian's doing this figure four grip here on Max's foot. And you can see it better here, and it's basically an inside heel hook. Just super powerful move. You gotta just watch out for that one. Man, that's unfortunate because Max had the positioning, but Jiu-Jitsu is a crazy sport. You just leave your foot in a weird spot, someone's able to collect it and arch into it. Aoki's legit. You cannot sleep on the Aoki lock. Let's watch it one more time. Watch the whole thing. It's a quick one. I think this was the fastest sub of the day. Jackie Chan. Max gets the knee free. Honey hole attempt. Brian throws his legs at him. Ends up stuck in ashi. But he's able to lock the Aoki. Quick. Just a shootout. Classic shootout. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose. Live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's what they say with the leg locks. Alright, next match. Alright, this was the David and Goliath match. This is a long one, and we're not going to watch the whole thing in entirety, but Brian pulls guard, gets into Z, moves into the lockdown. Again, guys, when you're going against a big guy, I don't recommend the lockdown. It's just hard to, especially, it's really hard to get electric chairs on big guys because that's a lot of weight you got to move. And the only way you're really going to get the electric chair is if they mess up really badly. And against guys that are decent and big, you're not going to get electric chairs very easily. So don't play electric chair against a super, super big guy. You could go dogfight, but even then, dogfight, like I said earlier, it's a clinch game. You're clinching on them. They can clinch on you. And check this part out. This is what happens. He's unable to get on his side. He can't shoot the underhook. And Josh locks the Kimura grip. And man, you don't want to be here. Brian was safe the whole time, but this is right here. Oh man, this is a problem. That's a problem. Now, Josh could have finished this if, I've seen this before. All you have to do, even though they have the lockdown, you could finish this by dropping this shoulder that's kind of behind his head just down to the ground and rolling under your partner. All you have to do is roll under them, and now you'll have enough range of motion to continue forcing the Kimura across. It's not the best way to finish a Kimura, but it's a way, and I've seen it happen a number of times. So if Josh just committed to rolling like just doing a front roll right there, he could have easily finished that Kimura, but he wasn't able to. Brian eventually got out, and I think for the rest of the match, he just kind of got stalled out on the bottom. And Brian did a good job of stalling his opponent out, because when someone's got a big weight advantage on you, it is a win for your team to just like get their top guy out of there, or one of their big guys, because that's a huge weight advantage. Actually, Brian's 125, Josh is 230. So that's over a 100-pound advantage. So the fact that Brian was just able to survive it goes to show that he's a gamer, and he played that really well. All right, next match, quick one. Cole uses a 2-on-1, pulls the Z, forces him in. Hector forced to come up on top, and as he does, gets stuck in the full guard. Cole doing a good job of keeping him down. Cole does have a big weight advantage here, and he's using it very, very well by holding his partner in his guard with the full guard, the closed guard, as they say. Little hand fight. Looks like Cole's trying to set up a wrist lock here. Interesting. Ooh, nice armbar attempt. He swings the hips over, looks for the armbar, uses that to try and enter K-guard. He does for a moment. Hector almost passes, but Cole manages to find his legs once again. Looks for the knee bar and changes it to a toe hold. Really great transition here. Let's watch it again. He's in the full guard. I call this the crone trilemma because you threaten the armbar, the triangle, and you can enter into leg locks. So he throws his hips up, looks for the armbar, but as Hector pulls out, he leaves his leg behind. Now, right here, Hector does a good job of moving to the side. However, he kind of like loses the his chest position. So he brought his body too far over, or Cole moved his body off. Where if you're in Hector's position, you want to keep your chest on your partner and stay on the inside. Where now Cole is able to maintain the inside space. Cole's able to bring this leg into play and stop Hector from smashing his chest onto Cole's chest. And now Cole can enter into a leg position. We call this K-guard here. It's like a knee bar position. And anytime there's a knee bar, there's also a toe hold. So he locks the toe hold, and that was all she wrote. Let's watch it again. Baby rip. Oh, it was a baby rip. I'm gonna start saying that, man. Oh man, I like that. It was a baby rip, guys. Don't worry. It's just a baby rip. Ouch. Yeah. Powerful. All right, we got Cole versus Pete. Another short one. All right, Cole uses some hand grips to pull himself into a half guard. Pete falls onto his butt for a moment, but gets back onto his knees, maintains the half guard position, has a good crossface here. This is a good spot for Cole. Cole's arm is trapped, but he does a good job of creating space. He's got his lockdown together. He finds the underhook on the knee and changes off into the leg attack. Rolls through, gets to the 50, a kind of a far hip ashi, an inside far hip ashi. Cole separates his opponent's legs. He wants to go after that inside heel hook here. And he gets it. Really great move there by Cole. Cole's leg locks are coming along really nicely. If I could give some advice to Cole here, it's just going to be monitoring this left arm of his. Like, this left arm was in danger way too much. So even from the beginning, when he pulls here, like this, I think he's looking for the Kimura grip. But when you're doing this from half guard, you need to get the wrist first. Because look right here, he hooks over the shoulder to go for the Kimura. But as he does that, he doesn't have the wrist. So because he doesn't have the wrist, you see that little move? See what Pete does with his left arm? Pete is then able to crossface under his partner's head. He's able to move his arm that direction. And because he's able to move his arm that way, Cole is unable to get the Kimura. And now, not only that, but his arm is in a bad spot. This is not good. Okay? If Pete was able to pass the guard here, Pete could jump sides or move into the mount on this side. Pete should have moved in this direction with like a staple, a knee cut pass, and then he would be in an arm triangle position. You see that? But he wasn't able to capitalize on that mistake. Cole was able to fight that hand off. And then same deal here. I don't like this position for Cole. See this arm here? There's no reason for this arm to be there. This arm should be pummeling to the underhook instead. It shouldn't be over the head. It should be under the arm. Why? Because now Peter can take the underhook on this side. Peter can use his arm here and underhook Cole's arm. And that would make it difficult for Cole to perform any techniques. But Peter does not take advantage of this. And because Peter kept his weight back, you see how Peter's spine is aligned? All Peter had to do was simply lay on top of Cole in this direction. And Cole wouldn't have been able to invert underneath for the leg. Gets the leg, spins for knee bar angle, leg changes to the inside. We're in a far hip inside ashi. Cole separates the legs. Here's another tip for Cole. I would have liked to see him lock his feet around the hips here. Cole's leg is exposed here. Similar to how Max got tapped with the Aoki submission, Cole's leg is very exposed here. If Peter was like vicious, he could put on a heel hook. Even though he doesn't have any like leg entanglement, you don't want to leave your foot just dangling out there. So, and also when you're trying to break the leg, let's fast forward a quick second. When you're here, this lock would have been so much tighter if Cole was able to bring this leg around and lock his feet together around the far hip here. It would have been a much stronger heel hook. All Peter had to do to get out of this, Peter just had to remove this foot. If Peter could have just pushed this foot off in this direction, there would have been no control of Peter's hips, and Peter could have rotated and spun in this direction. But because he was over concentrated, he was hyper focused on the heel hook grip. He wasn't able to get this foot off, and it's understandable. Some guys got a scary heel hook on you. It's hard to manage the situation. But even here, I like how Peter separated the feet here. This was really good. Peter did the right thing here by separating the feet. However, he didn't clear this foot across his hips, and that's what was able to keep his hips in place. So all Peter had to do right there, he's even got the hand on it. He just had to focus on moving the heel out downwards in this direction and moving his body in the opposite direction. And then he would have been clear. His hips would be clear. That's pretty much it. Let's move on. Tired. Alright, another Daniel match. I don't want to spend too long on this one because Cole's not going to be on the team, unfortunately. He did really great, but unfortunately he's just too big for the weight limit of 800 pounds. Daniel's just savage with the Darces. You gotta get your arms framing. Just framing. Just gotta frame. Don't give up Darces. People give up Darces because they go underhook without the leg hook. Next. Oh, okay. So this is a fun one. I'll just watch the first part. All right, Anish looks to take top position, but finds his bread and butter, the full guard. Immediately, Anish gets the mission control with a little double bag attempt. Daniel doing a good job of staying centered, not giving up too much. His hands are on the inside. He's really doing everything correctly. But that's the thing about rubber guard and guys with long legs. You could be doing everything correctly and still get stuck in a dead orchard. And that's what's going on here. Anish is locking up this dead orchard. Daniel doing a good job of driving forward, but Anish is shoulder walking, making sure he does not get overstacked. And now he is threatening the armbar. However, if you notice, the lock comes loose. As Anish removes his own hand, you can see that the lock comes loose for a moment. Oof. So close. Oh man, just fun. Just the problem is Daniel is he has one arm still inside the lock, and it's giving him a good defensive control. All right, Daniel does a good job of evading the dead orchard. Daniel steps around for an armbar look. Oh man. Anish comes up on top, evades the triangle, ends up passing. Wow. Sean belly. Daniel, really good job at recovering quarter shell, but loses it. Ooh, Anish jumps on the back in the process, has another triangle opportunity. But the elbow slips and he only has the head. Anish is in a no-arm triangle, uses the inverted armbar to roll his partner over. This is pretty deep. You don't see this choke too often, but it is possible. Loses top position. Still has a strong grip on the head. Daniel ends up slipping by the skin of his teeth. And then same deal. He tries to come up, but can't get perpendicular. He can't get perpendicular with his partner enough to where he's side to side. And Daniel's able to get that Jap necktie grip. Oof, powerful. All right, here's another case. This is the same reason why Max got tapped by Ricky earlier. This tends to happen to Anish, where they get the underhook. He really didn't have the underhook here. He kind of went into turtle, but when you come up in a turtle, you give the guy front headlock options, right? So I don't recommend coming up here. He didn't have to come up. I don't think there was a need to. And you come up in a turtle, you're giving the guy a front headlock, especially you see they have this whizzer on you. That's just asking for front headlock. If you're going to come up, you got to take, you see Anish's leg here? You got to take that leg and you got to hook this leg. All right? You need to take this leg and hook their leg. That way, when you come up, your spine will be aligned in this direction. Okay? As you can see, Anish's spine is aligned in this direction. Daniel's is aligned in this direction in a perpendicular angle, where you don't want that. You need your spines parallel for dogfight. You need to take that leg and step it over their leg. That way both of your spines will be facing in this direction, and they're not going to be able to do Japanese neckties on you. But because they're oriented like this, Daniel's legs are free. And because his legs are free, he can move into a variety of attacking positions. Combats. Should he have switched to a standard triangle during the dead orchard attempt? I believe he should have switched to armbar on the opposite side. So if we go back, there was a moment where he had it here. The first thing is, on the dead orchard, it was looking good, but then when he slipped his hand out, he didn't relock it. Like, there's a moment of truth where when you slip your hand out, there's a moment where it's loose and you need to slip it out and immediately re-cinch. And Daniel's stacking pressure was just too much here. I think he should have kept shoulder walking backwards, so Anish needed to continue moving in this direction to maintain his strong triangle lock, the dead orchard. But Daniel did a good job of like sticking him down and stacking at the perfect moment. Now, right here, this is where it started to fail, because you see how much space there is right there. At this time, that's when I would have switched to armbar. So for the dead orchard, you typically are attacking this left arm here. So when you know it's going to fail, I would have liked to see Anish take his left arm and deep hook on Daniel's right arm, his right elbow here, a deep hook, going elbow to elbow on the inside. That way, Anish could swivel his head in this direction, moving his spine and getting his spine aligned like this, and he would be in a prime position to attack Daniel's arm, which is currently here. Does that make sense? So he's currently attacking this arm with the dead orchard, but instead I would have liked to see him switch off into the other arm with the arm bar. That's just my personal take. I'm not a rubber guard expert, but I think that's something I would see as viable. I think you just should have switched off a little sooner. It's really hard to switch to a standard triangle when both arms are in. So you're asking if you should have switched to a standard triangle. The problem is, look at the arm positions of Daniel. I mean, it is possible, but both of his arms are in, and it's actually not his full arms. He's got one arm in. He's got one hand in, which is this hand. This Daniel's left hand is in, but his elbow's slipping out. And then on the other arm, his elbow's in, but his hand is out. So it's very unconventional defense, but it's actually really effective because he's cleared his elbow here, this arm is no longer in danger. Okay, so this arm is just a lost cause. So that's why I'm saying you should switch to the arm bar on this side, because even though his hand is safe, his elbow's not. And Anish could have took his wrist and shot it on the inside to hook deep. He's already has this arm underneath. But, you know, he's a triangle guy, so he wanted that triangle. He relocked it. That was tight too, but he relocked it, but Daniel's defense is so good right here. The way his arms are configured. I've actually never seen this particular defense. I don't know if I don't think he did it on purpose, but it actually worked really well. Maybe he did. Maybe that's his patented dead orchard defense. But I think it just ended up in a weird position, and it was a good way to defend this arm. So that's what I would have done. All right, moving on. This is Daniel versus Daniel. White Daniel versus Asian Daniel. I actually think Daniel's part Mexican. I don't know. He looks white though, especially with the mustache. Daniel, the white rash guard Daniel, is a beginner. He doesn't have a lot of experience, so there's just a mismatch. It's gonna happen. But you know what? He fought hard. You know, he never gave up until the end, until the very end when it was just checkmated. But he did really well. That's what I want to see out of our beginners, is just a no-quit attitude. Especially when you're rolling against someone who's just way technically better than you. You just got to do your best and not give up easy stuff. Make it hard for him. at the very least, make him spend energy to tap you, you know? Let's move on. All right, we got Steve, the big Steve. Let's see. Steve goes for a takedown here. You know what? What I don't like? I don't like empty shots. Or you got to set up the shots with something, and I think this was too much of an empty shot. He did, you know, he kind of like pump fake to collar tie or something. Let's watch it again. He kind of like brings his hands up to bring his partner's hands up, but it wasn't enough. It's not enough on a really good wrestler. You really got to fake him out good, and it wasn't a strong enough fake. But he does scramble on top. I don't even know how that happened. He came up on the bottom, kind of used his underhook. Same deal. This is another one. I don't like this. The only reason this kind of worked out for Steve is because he had the strength advantage. But I don't like this because... Let me make sure my head is in frame. Kind of dropping off the bottom. I don't like this because... Check this out. I've said this so many times now in the same video. Is right here, Steve comes up into dogfight, but he doesn't have the leg. He's rushing this. I don't want to see guys rush this right here. Steve needed to take his leg and hook over his partner's leg here. Right? This leg needed to hook over his partner's leg. That way when he comes up, he's going to be in a safe dogfight position. That's the reason why Daniel has been getting these guillotines. Ricky got a guillotine on Max. We've seen so many problems when people try and get up here without their leg involved. Anyway, let's move on. Ended up still working out for him because he was just like so explosive. Ended up on the bottom. What happened? Daniel did a good job of pushing off. Good technical stand-up. I would like to see Steve kind of try and keep him down a little bit more. Like, Daniel kind of pushes away, but, I mean, he did a good technical stand-up, but I would like to see some initiation on Steve's part to keep him down. He tries to break the guard, but Daniel's, that forearm frame, can you guys see that? Or that hand frame? I think Daniel knows, like, hey, I don't want to be under this guy. He's super strong. So you see this frame that Daniel does right here? Really strong frame. And that gives, that manages the distance. So now Daniel's able to slide his hips out. And he's able to stand up. So, hard to deal with. But you got to try and take that frame off. Let's see. What was a good takedown attempt? Single attempt to an underhook. But that whizzer. Look at that. Great whizzer. Great little judo kick out move right there. Makes Steve fall. Steve settles for the bottom position. Okay. So 2 times now, we've seen Steve go for a takedown. I think it was here too. He goes for a takedown and uses the takedown to pull guard. Okay. This is not a bad move. However, Steve is strong as shit. And I would prefer to see Steve be more committed to the takedown. Like right here, he does this like, he could have peeked out or he could have stayed on his feet. I would have much preferred him to try and continue wrestling. Because when you have a strength advantage on someone, you want to stay on top. You want to impose your strength advantage. And you're not going to do that from the bottom nearly as much as you would from the top. Let's move on. So just like more incentive to stay on top. That's what I'm trying to get across. We're in full guard for a while here. But there's one moment right here. This one was close. This was a close one. Check this out. We're in half guard. Steve gets his lockdown. Daniel makes the mistake of reaching over top too far. And Steve locks an S-grip arm triangle position. Oh, man. Oh, that's painful. Ooh. Look at those arms, man. Steve's so big and strong. I'm surprised he didn't tap him right here. But you know what happened is Steve lost the leg pummeling war.
We don't have a good vision of the legs here. But you see, Daniel does a good job of minding where his legs are. And he pummels his hands free. Steve, little tip here. When you're in this arm triangle, you want to try and get to full guard. Or you need to be really stubborn with your lockdown. The lockdown's got to be like really stuck. Let me change my camera a bit. Steve on the bottom. Ends up getting the back. Oh man, close. And Steve needed the win for this for his team here, but really great truck roll. Ends up getting his back taken. How does he get his back taken? Gets his guard passed. Comes up in a turtle, but he loses. He gives up the leg hooks. And that's the problem. I don't mind guys going to turtle, as long as you keep your neck safe and your hips clear of the leg hooks. But you see the problem is when he comes up in a turtle here, the guy's just able to throw his leg hooks in, and now you're in a predicament. It gets flattened out. Even a smaller guy, you know? It's crazy how powerful those leg hooks are. Ends up getting the body triangle. And then a little scramble, but then rolls to the truck. And then here's the other issue. Homie Daniel rolls, and Steve didn't see it coming fast enough, and you have to expect that calf slicer to come, right? So he's clearly trying to attack your right leg here. This leg needs to be extended straight. Okay, if you can extend your straight and put a boot on, it's pretty hard to finish calf slicers. Really, calf slicers should only work as surprise moves. And that's kind of what happened here is Daniel surprised him from this position. Hit that roll, surprised him, went straight to the foot and found that calf slice. And it was too late to defend. And then you know what Steve's doing here? Another thing, if it's this deep, this is how you do like a last resort. Steve's leg isn't doing anything here. This Steve's left leg. Steve could have used his foot to kick the grips off of his other foot. So he could have kicked the hands off. And if you can't kick the hands off, what you can at least do is hook your butterfly hook with your left foot under your own right ankle. And you can reinforce the extension of your right leg. Does that make sense? So you use your left ankle and hook under your right ankle. And then you can use both legs to lift and extend and make your leg straight. Again, if your leg is straight, you're not going to get hit with the calf slicer. But because Steve got caught with his leg bent, you know, it's just a recipe for disaster. Great match. All right, Battle of the Beasts. Steve versus Ricky. Good pummeling. Steve once again pulls. I don't mind a pull here. I don't mind a pull here because they're both equal in size. I like how Steve initiated some wrestling exchanges. Didn't work out. Pull a guard. Totally cool with that. I'm glad he attempted to wrestle. However, ends up getting his guard passed. How did that happen? He was in full guard. He looks for the Kimura grip, but look, he opens his guard to look for the Kimura grip, but the wrist isn't there. So he reaches over, but there's nothing to grab. And as his legs are open, Ricky just jumps out of the guard. There's nothing stopping him. I'm not a big fan of the full guard Kimuras. Are they effective? They certainly can be effective. But it's just, I'm not a big fan of it. I'd much rather have you do that from butter half or lockdown even. Because when you open up your legs, you just let the guy jump over and there's nothing stopping him from jumping over. And I think the bigger thing is like his legs just went limp. Like he's trying to hip escape so he can get the Kimura. But as he's hip escaping, his leg is limp here. And then Ricky's able to just jump over.
Don't shine. All right, Ricky in side control. Good press. Here's a mistake though on Ricky's part. Leaves his arm. I got caught in this last week by someone. I was in side control and my arm just got left hanging behind. Now Steve's got the half guard and he's got the Kimura grip. He's got the hand behind the back. Steve's able to keep the grip and he's able to roll on top. Oh man, oh! Classic. Excellent technique by Steve. Really solid stuff here. The hand behind the back, that's the king right there. He gets the Kimura grip from half guard, creates some off balance. Ricky counter pressures to compensate so he doesn't get rolled to his back. But as he does, the hand gets punched behind his own back. He cannot stop this roll. As long as Steve continues to roll, Ricky is forced to roll. And as he does, he gets stuck on his back. Steve has the arm in just a terrible position behind the back. And he's able to keep weight on his partner and pull that Kimura through. Just one of the most vicious submissions in the game. People always talk about how heel hooks are dangerous, but man, look at that. I'd rather get heel hooked any day of the week than have Steve on that Kimura grip. Vicious. What's up, Cole? Good to have you. I went over a few of your matches already if you are just tuning in. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, man. Rough Kimura. Rough Kimura. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Alright, let's see. How many do we have left? That was 22. Okay, we're almost there, guys. I am getting tired. I kind of need to get some food in me. I'm feeling a little nauseous. All I've had was coffee. Try and run through these quick. Steve versus Dustin, 2-minute match. All right, Steve pulls guard. I think they've rolled together a lot, so I think he's kind of just gauging that wrestling might be a waste of energy. And he's already had a match, so I think that's why he's a little bit more content to pull. And again, he's not much bigger than Dustin. I think they're about the same size. So, it's a smart move. Full guard. Something happens where he lost it. Okay, Dustin pressured down on the legs, forcing Steve to open the guard and forced him to change in half guard. Unfortunately, Steve does not have any inside position with his arms. Dustin has some double underhooks. This is really great for Dustin. Dustin does a good job of stapling down Steve's leg so he can pass. Ooh, but a little over-eager. Left too much space open on the staple. Steve was able to get his full guard back. Let's see. Steve is looks like Dustin stands up here, but as he does, he leaves his arm behind, where Steve's able to use an omoplata to roll his partner over. Steve's scrambling, trying to get on top, but Dustin does a good job of keeping his hips down, keeping his weight back, and sprawling on Steve to prevent any reversal. But excellent peek out by Steve. Oh, ends up getting to the back, but he's riding a little bit high. Manages to get his leg hooks in. Okay, so if you've been coming to my classes lately, I am been talking so much about turtle position and riding people, folk style riding, and I always tell people, like, you want to keep your weight back. However, there's going to be times where you get bumped forward like this. One of your last resorts is going to be getting your leg hooks in. If you're going to ride high, that's fine. Just understand that you need leg hooks. And that's what Steve does really well here. Steve recognizes that he's falling off the top, so he kind of understands that he needs these leg hooks in. Where sometimes I see people, they get bumped up here and they don't get the leg hooks in time and they fall forward. That's why I'm such a fan of getting your chest back. I would have much preferred to see Steve be more conservative here and slide his body backwards to maintain chest to hip connection. That way, he won't fall off the top.
because if Steve didn't get his leg hooks in, if Dustin did a better job at hiding the inside of his hips, Steve would have easily fell forward and Dustin would have easily gotten on top. But because Dustin was unable to guard the inside of his hips, right here, Steve was able to fit his feet on the inside, and that was able to stop Dustin's movement. Strong body lock, and lost the body lock, but in the process got his hand under the chin, got his whole forearm under there. And you know what? This just a bit real basic. You know, Dustin's new, but just lifts his head. This is not a strong enough grip. You see this hand grip that he has? This under grip? You need a baseball grip where your elbow comes up. Like, to defend this choke, Dustin needs to take the cross arm and grab Steve's wrist. Okay? This same side wrist pull down is not nearly strong enough to stop somebody from punching the choke in. You can watch it again. He thinks he's safe, but you're not. Because that hand, even look, he still has control. He's still holding the forearm. You see that hand? It's still there. He's pulling down, but it's just nowhere near strong enough to compare to the strength of somebody's figure four submission. You need to get both hands on that choke. More importantly, this cross arm needs to be baseball bat gripping on Steve's choke hand. Good match. Watch on your lunch break. Get back to work. I like it, man. Keep grinding, brother. All right. Oh, we got the mummy over here. The mummy caveman. He scratched his leg or something. I don't know. Before he had his partner down. Check that out real quick. Steve gets the front headlock, but he tries to spin behind his partner. He should have went for the snap down here. He had the head here, but he lost the head and tried to spin behind. I think he was trying to cut an angle, but Freddie was able to step around. Freddie was able to get the underhook and just kind of off balance him. And I think at some point, Steve just, would just pull guard. I want to see more, like in this situation, here's another one where pulling guard's not bad, but you have a massive strength advantage on someone. You need to be working to get on top, okay? Earn the top position. Pulling guard is like the easy way out. When you have the strength advantage, you should wrestle up. You should wrestle and try and get on top of someone. Maximize your weight advantage. Freddie passes the guard. Forces Steve to move into turtle. Steve does a good job of keeping his hips clear, but Freddie gets a hook in. What happens here? Good hand fighting. And this is that hand grip I was talking about with the way that Dustin lost. You see Steve's arm here? He's doing the baseball bat grip. It's the cross arm. That's the one that's going to stop the choke. Okay? The same side arm, right? Freddie's choke hand is with the left arm. The same side arm is going to be Steve's left arm here. This is not going to help you stop a choke. This arm is going to help you stop the choke. Okay? Simple, but some people don't understand that. Freddie does a good job at scrambling in the top position all the way into mount. Steve gets his half guard back, but Freddie knee cutting. Steve looks for the Kimura grip, but Freddie has been Kimura'd too many times. All right, when Freddie first started doing jiu-jitsu, he would just get Kimura'd all day. So now he's a little bit more aware. He's learned his lessons. Even still, he's getting in danger of a Kimura. But he's basing his hand out real wide so he doesn't get stuck in that Kimura grip. Let's see, moving on. Forces Steve to turn away. Oh, wow. That's deep. Let's see, set that one up. Oh, wow. So nice cross wrist control. And he punches the hand behind the shoulder. Steve's in deep trouble. This is surprising because Steve is so tough and so strong, but Freddy is a people sleep on Freddy. He's just like real tough. Mental toughness, physical toughness, and grit. Okay, those go a long way. And then you put the technique behind it. That's a recipe for success. Ends up losing the back, but keeps the mount. Maintains good position. Kind of getting stuck on a Kimura grip here. But Freddy's got good posture. And thankfully time runs out because Steve has a good bite on that arm. Couple things for Freddy is like you gotta be aware of this left arm. Like that happens just way too much. You gotta keep your elbow in and then use your hand. Instead of posting your hand on the floor, like I don't know, it's hard to, I don't know if I have a good camera angle. But there's a lot of times when Freddy's basing his left elbow out. Maybe not here. Not here. Not here. Where did the Kimura grip? Let's look at the end. Okay. Why did he get stuck in the Kimura grip? That's the question. Okay. The reason is, okay, here's the reason. Freddy's getting stuck in Kimuras because he's not choosing the underhook, the crossface, or wrist control. If you could just take one of those positions, and even if you don't have anything, just keeping your elbow in, that's gonna solve everything. Okay, number one, keep your elbow in. If you're going to take a grip on your opponent, you need to have a crossface with this arm, an underhook, or a wrist control. I'd prefer not the wrist control, but that can help. Okay. The problem is when your elbow is open, you're gonna get Kimura'd. So the best is gonna be the crossface or the underhook. Okay. If you're crossfacing or underhooking your partner, you're not gonna get Kimura'd. And that's what you should really work for. And Freddy's very good with the crossface when he gets into side control. Okay. But what I want to see Freddy do is I want to see Freddy use the crossface from half guard. Okay, if he can have that crossface from half guard, he's going to be able to pass the guard a lot easier and a lot safer. He's going to be able to use that crossface and really maximize its potential all the way from the beginning of the guard pass. Anyways, is that it? I think, which one is this? How many more we got? Oh, a few more. Okay. Let's go back. I think this one was kind of uneventful. Let's see if we could take something from it, though. Gets to the back. Oh, maybe not. I think he finishes. He's just on the back, on the back, on the back. Good attacks from Brandon. He's just so long. He's got so much of a length advantage on Daniel here. Real hard to deal with, especially with the body triangle. And you need to know like really intricate escapes with the body triangle. It's really hard to just like power your way out. And as I said that, he kind of did power his way out. But he got, what happened there? Just got rolled. How did he get rolled? Flower sweep, little flower sweep, real basic. Okay, look at this old school move. I don't even know if Brandon knows this move, but it's an old school move. Okay, and it works. It works because notice how Daniel's arm here. Get my pen back. Daniel's arm, his elbow goes too far across the center line. Okay, you need it. Contrary to most of jiu-jitsu, when you are in somebody's full guard, you need to keep your elbows a little bit wide. As long as your hands are in, you're going to be fine from Kimuras and most moves. But like you need to keep your elbows at a healthy distance away, because if your elbows are in real close, people are going to lock you up with arm locks, rubber guard, all kinds of nasty stuff from full guard. Okay, so that's why it's very important that you keep your elbows wide. Daniel's arm was too far across. And because his arm was across,
all Brandon had to do was just underhook his leg here. He just had to underhook this leg, and he has a little shoulder trap control here, and just like tosses him to the side. And because Daniel, his elbow, you see his elbow's like stuck here. It kind of gets loose afterwards, but it's stuck here long enough for Brandon to create an off balance, and now it's very easy for Brandon to get on top. Would I like to see? Okay, yeah, he does. Notice Daniel's still on top here, but he doesn't have enough pressure moving forward to stop Brandon's hips from rising. Okay, now Daniel's not in a terrible spot right here. It's not great, but it's not over. But it becomes really bad for Daniel when Brandon's hips start to rise here. Boom. Now he's done. Now he's in that smesh, that Khabib position. This is just miserable. And not only that, his arm is stuck. This is how Ryan Hall got KO'd, unfortunately. His arm got trapped on this side. Ben Askren, Robbie Lawler, same thing. His arm got pinned behind the hip right here. Really bad. You got to make sure, if you're on the receiving end, this arm here, your hand, you got to sink that hand back on the inside, or you're just going to get beat up right there. And it's not good for jiu-jitsu either. Which he did. Look, he did the smart thing. He got his arm back. Better to give up your back there than get submitted on the bottom. Let's see here. When I was watching this live, it looked like an early tap, but I could be wrong. You never really know how tight something is. I think he could have fought longer. I'm not him, but you know what? It's. I don't think it's because like he's not tough or anything. It's because he was tired and he's getting worked for a minute and a half and getting worked bad. It's one thing to just like be on the losing end, but like it was rough from beginning to end. He got his back taken multiple times, got pinned down in this weird position. The body triangle is just really hard to deal with. And then just the intensity of competition and somebody putting pressure on your neck, I understand. However, I do think that Daniel could have fought a little bit harder on this one. But like right here, that's a lot of pressure. This is strong right here. But you know what? Let's see. He brings his hand out to tap. He's tapping. I think he's tapping early because it's hard to tell. You don't know because you don't know how tight this is. It looks really tight. I could be incorrect. It could have been super tight and there was no way that he was getting out, or at least he didn't know of a way to escape. But from what it looks like, I think he could have worked a little bit harder at grabbing the hand. The hand does not look out of reach for me. For me, it looks like Daniel can reach up with even both hands, two hands, and grab the attacking hand, the choking hand, and pull it down. But like I said, a combination of nerves, you're exhausted, pressure on your neck, first time competing, completely understand tapping out. No hard feelings. In the future, though, I would like to see a little bit more fight. But that's just my assumption that this choke was not super tight. Again, just want to reiterate, this choke could be extremely tight, but it doesn't look that tight to me. From my educated point of view, I think that there was room to work. But you never know. I don't want to judge. Just my thought. All right, we're coming to the end of it. Only a couple matches left. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. Checking out the comments every once in a while. I like how Anish starts with taking top position. Let's start this again. I always tell Anish to try and wrestle. Pulls guard first. But then Brandon pulls guard. Brandon doesn't want top position. But then Brandon changes his mind and then wants to get top position. Just indecisive, kind of on both of them. Right away, finds the space to get the triangle, hunting the armbar, and that's the tap. Oh man, that might be the fastest one. Is that faster than Brian's submission on Poppy? It might be. We're gonna have to look at the instant replay. Let's see. Brandon comes up. Shoots the leg through. That's just Anish's move. You try and bridge into a niche, like from dogfight or from mount or something. He's just waiting for you to create enough space here to get his leg free. Just a old school attack. You know what I would really like for Anish to do is, if the rubber guard isn't working, a little hip bump triangle, because that's what this looks like, is a hip bump triangle, but the end of it, like an end of a hip bump triangle, just the triangle part. But if he incorporated the hip bump into his full guard attacks, I think that would give him an additional option if rubber guard isn't working. So as Brandon is scrambling on top, Anish steps over the back with this left leg, and all he has to do is create enough space for his right leg to come up and over. With that, in this case, he uses the wrist control triangle, locks it up. He's got a great angle on it. That's as deep as it gets. And he's got the arm extended. Just what a powerful position. Old school BJJ. Let's move on. Now we got Anish versus Jason. Rubber guard. You know what, in this match, Anish does a really great job of keeping Jason in front of him and preventing the body lock. Jason really likes the body lock pass, and I'm surprised that Jason was unable to accomplish this. I think what would have really helped Jason establish this pass was forcing this foot across. So we call this jersey, I believe, in the rubber guard system. You see how Anish's foot is stuck under Jason's leg? I think what Jason should have focused on was getting his right leg in front of this ankle as well. So currently, Jason's left leg is in front of the ankle. But if Jason could have done like a little hook kick with his right leg, then you can get both of the legs in front of that shin. And then you'll have a little bit more leverage on stepping over. I don't know what clip it's in or what part of the match. Let's see, maybe it's here. Jason tries to step over the knee. Okay, that's I think that's like right where it is. Jason, and this works. If Jason can step his leg over Anish's leg here, then he should theoretically have the pass. But that doesn't happen. Anish's legs are very long, and it's going to be a difficult thing for you to step your leg all the way over the knee. So that's what I'm saying about going from jersey to I don't know the name, but Jason needs Anish's leg to be all the way across the hip here. So he's unable to pass, and he's just getting stuck in rubber guard. And all this time, Anish is able to set up his offense. He's able to, look, he's looking for meat hook. He's trying to clear the neck for omoplata. He's just unable to. Jason is very experienced with the rubber guard. He knows how to position his body to prevent you from attacking. One thing I would have liked to see, he goes for a once, which is trying to clear the neck right here. You see what Anish is trying to do? He's trying to frame the head to create space for him to bring his leg over. Right there. Let's see. He should go chill dog. Okay, chill dog is where he was able to frame the head, but he's trying to frame the head and pull the leg over together. Okay. Instead, what he can do, let's rewind to about here. What I think Anish could do, like he's trying so hard to push Jason's head away. Okay. Anish is trying to push Jason's head away here to create space here for him to pull his leg through that space to end up in a omoplata, gogoplata scenario. However, all he has to do is create enough space for his elbow or his forearm to keep inside. Like, it's already there. Like, he has enough space for his forearm. That's all you need. Now his focus could simply be taking his hand under his own shin here. So underhooking his own leg here. We call that chill dog. You don't have to get to omoplata right away. All you have to do is get to that one step of getting your wrist under your ankle. And then slowly over time, you can manage getting your shin in front of his face to go into gogoplata or omoplata. But you don't necessarily have to frame the neck and then bring the leg over into the omoplata in one shot. Does that make sense? You could just take it step by step. It's very similar to mission control, where you're here. Let's get a better shot of it. Okay, here. So what I'm trying to say, for those of you that aren't rubber guard familiar, you see how Anisha's right forearm is vertical against the far trap, Jason's far collarbone. He's framing. All Anish needs to work on is clearing his forearm. Okay, not clearing the neck where you're pulling your ankle over. Anish just needs to take his forearm from this side to this side. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to let go of his own ankle so he can switch his forearm from here to here. And when he does that, then he just needs to go under his shin again. So then you'll see his fingers wrap under the shin more over here. Okay, and even if you don't move directly into the omoplata right away, you're going to be able to inch your way to create more space. Anyway, let's move on. What happens? And then I think Jason kind of knows Anish, and he knows that his guard's really strong, but Anish has a leg lock deficit. I'm always trying to get Anish to do more leg locks, but he's just such a good guard player that he's just and again, he's a beginner. He's only been training for like less than a year, so he doesn't have a fully rounded out game. His guard is fantastic, but his leg locks need work, and I think Jason understands this. So really great tactical game plan change is he went to the leg lock because he knew that Anish is not as strong in the leg lock department. So eventually he kind of just backs out of Anish's guard because he's in 3/4, and then just drops to the leg. Wasn't even a clean leg lock entrance too, because if I was Jason, my advice to Jason is going to be like this shin here. It's very important that you get your leg on the inside, because your leg's not on the inside. Anish still has this inside leg position. What Anish could do here is Anish can shoot his leg under Jason's leg. Okay, see, Jason's leg is on the outside here. Anish's leg is here on the inside. Anish could take his butterfly hook, shoot his foot under the hamstring, and then wrap to the hip for the ashigarami. And then as Jason's turning in this direction to find the heel hook, he's actually going to be exposing his own leg. And that's now you're able to get your own heel hook, right? So be careful, Jason, when you are attacking the legs, and make sure that you are achieving the inside position first. Okay, I think against high-level leg lockers, you're not going to be able to get this leg lock very easily. You're going to have to get that inside leg position, create a reap scenario. But you got the job done, so, well done. But just be a little bit more diligent in your leg lock entrance. Another thing is, because Anish still had this leg, if Anish was a little bit more savvy on hiding his foot, you're going to have a hard time getting heel exposure and transitioning to other leg locks. And as I said, like, this leg is exposed against a good counter leg locker. You might run into some trouble here. All right, last couple. Dang, Jason ran through a bunch of them. All right,
Cole, you're up here. So Cole, I think, pulls guard. I know Cole wants to get into leg locks, but as he's pulling guard, okay, here's another one. I see Cole making this mistake a lot, where Cole is not using his bottom leg to pull his partner in. He's a little bit too limp-legged with his bottom leg when he's playing half guard. And because he's not pulling his partner's leg in, Jason just steps around. Pay attention to Cole's right leg here. He pulls guard and just Jason's just quick and just evades it immediately. Let's watch it again. Cole pulls guard. And he looks for the half guard. Okay, he's not even trying the full guard. He goes for the half guard. It's totally fine. But look, there's no connection with his right leg. There's no solid connection. And because there's no solid connection with either of his legs, Jason's just able to do an athletic spin and get to his flank. Now he's all the way north-south, threatening Kimura, threatening the back, threatening armbar. All because you just didn't have a solid connection with your legs. You can't keep someone in front of you if you don't have a solid connection. Especially, I'll tell you this, Cole is not the fastest. Okay, he's not a very he's not a fast twitch, muscle fiber, scrambly kind of guy. Cole is very strong. He has a very strong squeeze. Okay, and you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. So it's very important that Cole establishes a strong connection because Jason is very fast and you're not going to be able to match his speed on the bottom. So my advice is find your guard connection before you start moving into attacks. On the guard pull, you got to get that connection quick because now you're just going in a defensive cycle and you're just getting stuck on the bottom and getting stuck in a darce. But you know what? Good defense here. I remember when Cole first started, I'd pass his guard and then he'd just give up. You know, it's just like mentally he would just give up. But I've seen he's come a long way at just fighting through the adversity, staying battling through being uncomfortable. Look at that, even fighting hard in spiderweb. Eventually loses it. Jason does a really good little nice palm strike there. Nice palm strike. Tries a Silverado. But he just pops that grip off. Cole's grip just wasn't tight enough. Wasn't deep enough. And Jason's real strong. So it just separated the hands really well. But Cole fought from 10 seconds in. He got his guard pass, and he fought off a number of submission attempts all the way for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, roughly. So, really good defense from Cole. I like how he didn't give anything up easy. All right, I think this is the last one. We got Brian versus Jason. Brian right away drops into the leg lock and already gets stuck in a DOA. Now, I will tell you, this is a bad habit that I need to take responsibility for. There's too much people moving into the DOA, and there's no reason for it, okay? You don't use this double outside ashi. See this right here, this outside triangle? I don't recommend people do this, okay? Because there's nothing stopping Jason from then sprawling and passing. Okay, he actually doesn't get the pass, but he gets out of the leg lock, and Brian's pretty lucky he didn't pass. There's no reason to pull that leg out. It doesn't help you in any way. Okay, you're much better off keeping your leg in the middle. And that's kind of the only reason you should go DOA immediately is if you're going to immediately move their foot across. There's going to be times where you'd get stuck here. And if you get stuck here, you see how Brian's arm is overwrapping? It's over Jason's leg. Well, if this happens, first thing you need to do, make sure this knee is in the center. It is kind of in the middle right now, so that's okay.
But then he should create a forearm frame across Jason's center line. So Jason is going to have a harder time sprawling his weight down, getting to that chest-to-chest connection. So you prevent the chest-to-chest connection with the forearm frame. As you're framing, you're then going to, instead of overwrapping, you're going to take an underhook on this ankle, okay? This leg. Because you're underhooking the ankle, it's going to be very hard for Jason to sprawl his leg back because he's going to be working against your elbow joint. In this case, it's very easy for Jason to sprawl back because there's nothing stopping his leg from just moving backwards in this direction. It's not easy, but it's easier than if Brian was underhooking the leg. And because of this, the leg lock attempt was defended, and Jason was able to get on top in a dominant position. Let's see. Another issue here that I'm seeing from Brian is he doesn't have the underhook. Brian needs to be framing, doing a whip down. He's like on the wrong hip. Like he's trying to whip, I think, but it's not working. So he's still on his side. And this clinch right here, what he's doing with his arms, there's no advantage to having your arm up here. Instead, he should be bringing his forearm in front of the head to create space and get his arms back on the inside so he can get his underhook back. Okay, having the arm here is really just a stall tactic. And you're more susceptible to just like getting your arm underjacked. It's not a good idea to have your arm up. Head and arm. I'm also not a fan of front headlocks from the lockdown. I just don't think they're very effective most of the time. And then you give up like the inside position, you know? Like you give up like right here. Instead of having this headlock, Brian could have used this underhook here. Punch the underhook. Or go under the leg. Or use the arm to frame and then get his arms back. I think that's just like the moral of this story is he needed to frame Jason's head to get his arms on the inside. Easier said than done. Then Jason hits a back step, goes to the legs. But I think Jason is like, Brian's a good leg locker. I'm not going to mess around with the legs. So he just decides to use the back step to pass the guard. Under jack. Gets his head to the mat. Mount. Finishes with the shin on belly. That's a wrap. Yeah, I mean, once it's that deep, it's over. Let's see what happened here. And like I was saying before, Brian's problem here. Oh, what's up, Jason? Came just in time. Brian's problem is that he never had the inside position. Jason was always inside of the elbow here. He was just always on the inside of the elbow, and especially Jason's in good shape, super strong. He's got a weight advantage. As a smaller player, you need to be super hyper paranoid about getting arm triangled from the mount. The arm triangle from the mount is overpowered. It is so dominant, especially when you have a strength advantage. Even if both guys are the same size, the arm triangle is an excellent move. But if the top player has a strength advantage, it's just a nightmare. It is terrible to deal with. So you have to do everything in your power to keep those elbows down. And that sources back all the way to the beginning of the match from a scenario like this in a half guard position. These types of scenarios are what's going to lead to those arm triangles. Notice Brian's elbows up, unable to get his arms on the inside, and you're just not going to be able to generate any kind of offense. You're not going to be able to get your guard back. You're not going to be able to sweep your opponent. Certainly not going to be able to submit them. So you're kind of just like on a full defense from the very beginning. So here's another example. No reason to clinch the head here. You need to work on getting the forearms on the inside. Again, man, Jason's a beast. Hard to do. Hard to do on Jason, but I want to at least see the attempt here because there's just, again, simply no benefit of pulling the head down into you. You need to be creating space, not taking away space. Jason, on the other hand, this is great for Jason. Jason gets to stay even tighter to his opponent. So Brian is actually helping Jason in this scenario. That's pretty much it. Jason, if you didn't watch from the beginning, I think I commentated a couple of your matches from earlier. I had a little bit more to say on I gave a little bit more critique. But I think overall Jason did really well, especially this last series. He just ran through those guys just clean. Like, how many matches was that? He just like felt like he took out the whole team there. 1, 2, 3. It was 3, but 3 good guys. Anish, Cole, and Brian. That's not easy, man. All those guys are tough. So solid work. I was just saying. Let me switch this up. I'm gonna end the stream right now. You get to see my big old face. Back out. So yeah, awesome work from all the guys. Super fantastic matches. We were delighted with. Jason just the first match. That dude was tough. He was obviously very experienced. I think you did excellent. I almost forgot. I've ran through so many matches, hard to remember. What was the main thing? The main thing, I think, was to stay on top a little bit more when you got there. And then, oh yeah, it was just to be a little bit more proactive on the defense. You got a little bit tired. It looked to me like you got tired at the end of the match. But just like fight harder on not just not getting submitted, but actively trying to improve your position, because you'll get less tired when you're on the offense than when you're on the defense, right? So even from an energy conservation standpoint, generally you're going to have a much better time. You're going to have more energy if you're attacking. And that can help you in the next match. Even if you both get eliminated, if you were on the offense and they were on the defense, they're going to be more tired for their next match. You're going to be having more energy because you're on the offense. And then I think in a lot of them, just understand that like you want to be pushing the pace, just be like really assertive and just more aggression. I was thinking about this not even today, but as soon as I saw the first stream, which was it's important in these quintets to just like go balls out. Don't save anything. Like, yeah, you could potentially have 3 or 4 matches, but I'd rather have you be I want you to go out on your shield, not have anything left in the gas tank. I want you to attack relentlessly, and you're in good shape, so just attack relentlessly, and that's gonna pay off really well. Anyways, this video was more to my students than anyone else. I hope that you found some benefit in this. I had a great time doing it. I am surprised I did all of those. I think I did it restart or something? It says 36 minutes. But I don't know, man. I'm tired now. I need a snack. I need some rest. I gotta go teach more jiu-jitsu soon. Super excited about that, but I definitely need to rest before I get going again. Anyways, thank you to everyone who competed. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope there's something that you guys can take away. I will be doing more of these in the future, and I apologize that I have not done any commentary as of late, but it is a new year, new me, and I'm just excited for the future. I'm gonna do more breakdowns and hopefully give you guys more information on how you guys can improve your jiu-jitsu. Anyways, peace out.